Mr. Vincent. Oh, Vincent is here. We have a short question and answer session, so if you have any questions, do come forward with the questions. Once sorry. Okay, so I think we'll just do a short. We'll just do a short Q&A, and then we'll get. Where's Miss Han Hui Hui, by the way? I don't really want to stand here, but
I want to ask the first question. What is your weight, Han Hui Hui?
okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask anyone up here, or anyone.
Okay, I have a question. Besides depending on our elected president, so-called elected president, how else can we find more information about our national reserve? Because this has been in a dark for many, many years, and even after our Ong Teng Cheong died, until today, we have no refresh information about the reserve. Because it tells thousands of stories. Can you enlighten us? Is there any way we can do something about knowing the national reserve?
Actually, the reserves is managed by 3 different entities: Temasek, GIC, and MAS. We know the exact amount that Temasek and MAS manage is about 500 over billion. It's only the amount of GIC that is managed that is secret. But yes, what they say is that they manage at least US $100 billion. So you add the 3 together, according to one newspaper, estimated to be 800 billion. In other countries, some people have estimated it to be around 1 trillion. So it's probably somewhere between 800 billion to 1 trillion. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Next question.
Now, is Mr. Tan Kin Lian around? Yeah, okay. Now, Mr. Tan Kin Lian raised the point about national service being a problem in Singapore, that it is detrimental to employment. Actually, we all must be very careful when we speak about doing away with national service or reducing national service, saying that 8 months is sufficient and whatever. Now, especially it is hot in the news over the past 2 months. You know what happens to a country where you are helpless, like Ukraine. Now, the problem is not national service. The problem is employers. Employers discriminating against national service employees. Now, if we were to use Mr. Tan Kin Lian's logic, that means pregnancy must be banned because maternity leave causes many people to be retrenched. So we ban pregnancy, is it? Cannot be, right? So we must have rules and regulations that protect our national servicemen when they do their national service, so that employers do not discriminate against them. That's why just now, like Roy said about the Fair Employment Act and all those things, to make sure that our national servicemen, after they ORD, they should be given first preference for all the jobs because they have given 2 to 3 years of their life serving the nation, and that the country must do for them. Not to say that we don't need national service, we don't need 2 years to train the people. Now, You just have to look around in places where you are weak. Your bigger brothers around you will take over. And if we think that we can depend on the Americans, or for some people now we say we can depend on the next superpower, the Chinese, forget about it. What is Obama doing in Ukraine? He only doing a lot of talking, right? But he's not actually protecting the people of Ukraine. So only we can protect ourselves. So don't talk about reducing national service. Talk about employers protecting the national servicemen. This is what we must be doing. It is the employers. And how to make the employers? It is the government that must institute rules and regulations that make sure the employers do their part. And if they don't do their part, penalize them. That is the way to go. Thank you.
Well, the technical, I mean, it's difficult because Kin Lian is not here, but I suppose the technical issue of how long national service should be is a technical question. That's up to the defense authorities.
If Mr. Tan Kim Lian is an ex-military officer with 30 years service, I will respect him.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe, I mean, well, he's
He
not,
has
lah,
got
so,
no
yeah.
qualification to speak about defense.
Okay, perhaps we,
That's
yeah.
very important.
Yes, thank you.
That's very, very
yeah.
important.
Yeah, perhaps it's difficult to answer that because
No,
he's not
I-
here.
I-
Let's not attack Mr. Tan because he's not here.
No, that's
yeah?
why I asked for him.
Okay.
No,
but he's not here, lah, so.
No, but
yeah.
my point is this.
No, the point is taken. It's a very clear
any
point.
one of us
Yeah.
who thinks that we can
Yeah.
do away with national service, forget it, because it is.
Yeah, thank you. I think your point is taken.
Nation. Don't ever, because Singapore, we lose our Singapore, we got nothing. So this is something which we must not give away. Thank you.
Yeah, national service also two-edged sword. It's also good and also dangerous because we are all soldiers. It's very easy to hijack the infantry gun. We know the way, we know how to use it. It's two-edged. Look at the 60. You know already. Those coolies strong, the gangs were strong. Look at now our youth. Our children all get beaten. All like aqua.
There's an aqua on stage, so just moderate your language a bit.
Okay. Sorry. So, okay, I talk about reserve. The reserve, I know where to go. In Suzhou, China. Because Lee Kuan Yew say, in 100 years, Singapore won't be around. He's right. He's right. Look at Crimea. He's very right.
I just want to address the comment that in 100 years Singapore will not be around. If you study history, all empires fall eventually. Of course, there are many reasons why empires fall. But the one clear one that happens every time is when a country does not truly look after its citizens, then it is the beginning of the end. When the country from a cash flow perspective collect as much taxes and social security as the Nordic countries and yet give so little benefits to its citizens, like I said earlier, repeat, from a cash flow perspective, we are the only country in the world that does not spend a single cent on healthcare or pension or public housing. So if you look for a cash flow perspective, we have become a country where we collect as much as other governments, but we spend so little. And the outcome is that so many people are struggling, they are suffering. And unless this change, I don't think we have to wait 100 years. Singapore may not be around much sooner. Next question, please. Next question, please. Raise your hand. Next question, please. Okay. Next question, please. Anyone? Next question? Yes. Thank you, sir, for bringing the much needed mineral water to all of us who were so thirsty and we got no money to buy mineral water, is it? Organizer. Huh? These two organizers, I think, give them a round of applause, right? Roy and Vivi, for doing such a fantastic job. Next time, remember to bring mineral water for speaker, okay? 60-year-old one, no water will collapse one, you know. Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Leong. I want to thank all the speakers today. I think you all have done a very good job, and we are really, really proud to be here to listen to all of you. If I may be allowed, there was this topic that was not touched upon, which is education. The current streaming, the current education system. May I have your thoughts on that, please?
Actually, Empowering Singaporean was founded last year, October, after I ended my lawsuit, or my lawsuit came to a standstill. So in November, we had a prelude. Then December, we actually touched on education. So January, we went overseas to India to research on the Little India riot. In February, we organized a pre-budget forum. In March, we actually had a protest against SNCC. So in April, we went to the Nordic country, and now in May, we are talking about labor issues. So education was actually touched on last year already. Then in our upcoming event in next month and following month, will basically be healthcare, HDB, all this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody with the next question?
Are you going to organize this kind of event on a periodical basis?
Yes, we are organizing one event every month. This is our target. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The next one will be in next month. We will either touch on healthcare or we'll touch on HDB.
Okay, because it's going to be a periodical recursive event, and of course we are disciplined Singaporean, and we do not want to break the law or anything. So how do you actually spell out the do's and don'ts in a way to invite your friends here, that you feel that your circles of friends, they have the needs to know, and not violating a media act or anything, or something like doing foolish thing like putting it on your own Facebook and all these things. So maybe you enlighten how the proper way country lover should do in this kind of a way of telling your friends.
Basically, how you can tell your friend, you can start off the conversation. You don't actually have to be the one who start off the conversation, because they will be the one who started off. When they say, oh, my plate of rice today is $3. You can ask them, oh, $3, do you think it's expensive? If yes, why? If no, why not? Then you can talk about the 7% GST that is being incurred inside. You can talk about the labor cost, the rental of the store to pay for why is it that it came $3 rather than 50 cents years ago. So that is where you can start off. You can say, oh, you're going home now, so where do you stay? How many rooms is your HDB? Oh, so your HDB is 4 rooms, but what is the floor areas? What is the size of the floor area? So it's becoming smaller. Why is that so? How many of the window ledge did they cut off? How many of the corridor did they cut it off? So all this is how you can actually start the topic. Then you can actually share our YouTube video as well, because after every event we post it online. Yeah. So you can share the YouTube
particularly
video.
about sharing the media, the media in this kind of events in the media, and how should a disciplined Singaporean go about doing this? What I say, just calling your circles of friends, informing them. I think that's practically okay, but some may go overboard to take the entire event and showcase at their own website or their own social media work, and it becomes they represent you people. Right. So by right, that's overboard. I think it's overboard. So can you also formulate something that enlighten and educate our Singaporean how should we do it in a proper manner without breaking the law? Yeah.
Try to answer your question specifically. There is no law that says you cannot share with your friends that there are events like this going on. There's no law that says you cannot ask your friends to come with you or come by themselves. Share with them on Facebook, Twitter, SMS, email. As you talk to your friends, there's no law against that. Whatever reporting on the event, the videos, the write-ups, there's no law that says you cannot share, with your friends. So that is my specific answer to you. But I just want to say that Roy and Hui Hui, as you can see, are very young. And they have only been doing this like maybe a year or two, or even less. I've been doing this for like 15 years. And so often people ask me the same question. What can I do as one person when I see all these problems around me in Singapore? What can I do? So you have said it. Share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook. People like Roy and Hui Hui, they spend their time, they spend the money to organize this, right? And they pay themselves to go to Norway to interview the trade union, you know. So everybody can do something. Just click and share on Facebook. As more people know, I think what's even more important is the people who are making policy need to know. Because if they don't know, then how are they going to review the policy? Huh? Thank you very much for the question. Next question.
Yeah, sorry.
Next question.
Thank you for that. Actually, what I meant is actually, you guys are maybe sort of registered and sort of you know, organize this event legally. And the difference between we come here and listen to a good speeches and felt that we have to tell our friend, and the way the different entity that we represent, you know, we can all go overboard because we've forgotten that we are not registered. You got what I mean?
Okay, you want to speak at Speaker's Corner, you have to go online to register. But be careful, I've been trying to register for 4 days already. I only managed to register for today, yesterday. But never mind. I mean, anybody can come to speak at Speaker's Corner, okay? You just have to register. So imagine there are like 200 of you. Each one of you decide to come and speak one day, the next 200 days, there'll be 200 protests against jobs and wages or something, you know. So everyone can do something. Share Facebook, come do whatever you want. Next question, please. Next question. Anyone? One question on the back. Can you just pass the mic to him? Thank you. We'll let Roy answer this one because he has not done anything during the
Good evening,
Q&A
all of
yet.
you. I came here and stand before this place on the 25th of January. You all remember? Okay. After that, I got warning from authority. I don't know why I said or what I did. But then again, let me, like who he say, you cannot be empowered when you don't know anything. You tend to scared. But let me ask you one simple question. If a coming election, you continue to vote for the PAP, you have to stay longer here. Okay? Now I ask you a simple question. How many % we need to change the government? How many of you know? It's not by feeling. You have to count. Okay? You have to really count how many the new citizens are coming in and overcrowding even your own present voters. Okay?
Okay, that's not a question, but can I add on?
Let me answer the same question. Okay? Can you make this, all of you, just go and tell those people who voted for the PAP, just bring them over to your side. Only 13%. Very, very small amount of 13% only. And then you can see a lot of changes. Even presently, the fare hike. Gerald E also, he also quite shy, you know. When you go to church, he's also quite ashamed of himself. He say he's helping the people. How can 3.2%, then next year 3.4%, add together 6.6%, can help the poor people?
Actually,
you think?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I can.
So my question is, can we all continue on? Can we all continue on? The answer is all within yourself.
Actually, let me add on to that. I have looked at the statistics from 2001 to 2006 to 2011, the past 3 elections. If you look at the constituencies where the boundaries did not change, from 2001 to 2006, there was a 10% swing away from the PAP. From 2006 to 2011, there was another 10% swing away from the PAP. And you can see that from 2001 onwards, the inequality has gone up, poverty has gone up, wages have gone down. So if you track, the subsidies have remained the same, still quite low. If you can track all this, you can track that the swing away from the PAP coincides with how our wages have not grown, how inequality have grown, and it is still growing. So at the next election, we can expect another 10% swing. Okay, but if we are able to convince more people, we are able to get a 13% or 15%, we are able to confidently be able to do something. Okay, I also want to add another thing. You know, when I went to Norway, I felt very free when I was there. And then I went to the Resistance Museum in Norway, where they fought the Germans in the World War II war. And that was when I realized, with conviction, that when you want to fight for your freedom, you have to fight for it. For your freedom, you have to fight for it. My family and my sisters, they are sometimes worried about me, but I tell them, you know, I have to do this. If we don't do this, our people will be in trouble. We will continue to be trapped. They have done this for 30 years. And And I've shown you on Thursday that they have, yeah. They have done this since 1984. They created policies in 1984, 1994, 2004 to cut down on Singaporeans. It was only in the past 10 years that it became obvious to us. It's only in the past 10 years that it became obvious to us what they have been doing for us for the past 30 years. And they have been in government for 50 years. So for more than 60% of the time, the policies were against us. Yet we continue to believe that they will help us one day. They will not, because it has been 30 years. It will never happen anymore. The only way for it to happen is for PAP to internally realize that maybe I should change within. But Singapore is ranked 5th on the Crony Capitalism Index. In order for them to continue to stay in power, they've already rewarded so many people. Can they tear down their structures to ensure that all these people are okay with that? So I think the only way is really for the people to wake up, like you and I. My awakening only happened 2 years ago. I've always known that there were issues in Singapore, but I didn't pin it back to the government, not like how Mr. Leong has been doing so. So I just want to say that for our freedom, we have to believe that we have to fight for it. And of course, the best way to do it is to use evidence. You notice that I always use statistics, I always use facts to go against them, because what I want to say is I do not just want to ramble and rant. I want to tell you, these are the statistics. Now I want answers because you are the government, you have to be responsible. You have to tell us what the real answers are. And we are the citizens, we vote you in. You are not the leaders. You are our servants. And when we have answers, and when we have questions and we demand answers, it is not for you to tell us, sorry, it is not in your interest. Sorry, we cannot review too much about what has happened in the past 30 years. It's not for them to do that. If they do that in any other country, they would have been gone long time ago.
That's right.
So we must fight, we must continue to fight. And we must find out why we need to fight and go for it.
I just want to add on the statistics because the questions on immigration. In the last 7 years, they granted 133,000 new citizens. So this will affect the voting pattern. Last year, despite all the rhetoric, we will curtail the influx of foreigners. Last year, they gave 25,000 new citizens and 30,000 new PRs. I think that was a question here. Yeah, please, sir.
Okay, nowadays the government keep on telling us that we Singaporeans do not want to work in a blue-collar job, like shipbuilding, building house, doing shippers and all this. I think they are telling a lie. I worked in a shipyard in the 70s, early 70s, and my hourly pay, I'm a new worker, entrance. My hourly pay is $7 per hour. That was in 70, right? And the cleaner who clean all the debris, ladies cleaner, they are paid $5 an hour, right? If the government, were to allow the SME, and too bad because the SME was all taken up by Keppel Shipyard, Jurong Shipyard and Sembawang Shipyard. So the SME has gone because of mechanism and what you call that? They use machines and all this. Now they are paying all those laborers $3 an hour, $4 an hour. I think they are going back to the old days of 1930s. And they say that we are not willing to take up the job, which is untrue. In the 70s, all shipyard builder, all the house builder, they are all Singaporeans. We get $7 an hour. You can check the history and check with those older shipbuilders or welders, And some of the skilled welders, they are paid $15 an hour. And now what they are paying those laborers now? $4, $3 is ridiculous. The government are lying and they are trying to depress Singaporeans and keep on saying that Singaporeans are not not willing to take up this work. If they are to pay us $15 an hour, I'm willingly to work.
10 hours I got $150. 1 month I got $3,000. Why not? Correct or not? 70s I'm getting $7 an hour just to as an entrance shipbuilder, a welder. I can't even weld, but they pay me $7. Right? So I think we need to push the government on this. Why they keep on saying Singaporeans refuse to work? It is not true, because they are not paid according to the market rate. Like Seattle, they have $15 an hour minimum wage. So why can't they do it?
In the 1980s, out of the labor workforce, only 5% were foreigners. But right now, we have close to 55% who are foreigners. That means a lot of Singaporeans are not getting the jobs. But what they are saying is that you Singaporeans don't want to work because they expect you to earn only not just $3, $4. We have experienced cases where they are only earning $1.50. We do not blame the foreign workers. Why? Because they are being exploited as well. But who is the one who let the foreign workers in? Who is the one who came out with inhumane policies that doesn't protect the human rights of all the population in Singapore? When we Singaporeans go overseas to work, we want other countries to respect us. So when they come here to work, we have to respect them. But what is wrong right now is that the government is not respecting both the foreigners, new citizens, and Singaporeans. And we need to stop this. So how we can stop this is only by telling people. We need to reach out to the population. Just look around you. Only the few of you here knows what is wrong with the system. There are many of them out there still staying in their HDB flat, lying down. Oh, I just finished working, I'm going to pay my loan. But they don't understand why they are in so much debt. So the reason why we are coming out with all this is to get people to know. And what you have to do as an individual is to share it out. And if you want to, you can of course welcome to join us as a speaker and share your experiences, so that we know what is happening with the Singapore society and what are the loopholes that they make use of to get all their foreign workers in to exploit them.
Well, I will say something very quick. I just want to ask a show of hands. If we are able to, if sales staff in Singapore are able to earn 2000, 2005, 2008, for example, will you do the job? Yeah, so I don't think that's an issue. Yeah, in fact, the problem is the fact we do not have a minimum wage. Yeah, I want to add another thing. You know, in Norway, cleaners earn $5,000, 5,000 Singapore dollars, and the Prime Minister earns 25,000 Singapore dollars every month. Okay, so the difference is only $20,000. In Singapore, cleaners earn $1,000, the Prime Minister earns $183,000. The difference is $182,000. So the wage gap in Singapore is 9 times higher than Norway. Okay, so we might say that in Singapore we need high salaries for them because Singapore is unstable, right? Norway also has 5 million population. Norway's GDP per capita is as high as Singapore. Norway is also ranked as the most competitive, most innovative countries in the world, yet their income inequality is very low. So you have a fact right in front of us that if we are able to pay people high wages, all Singaporeans high wages, and the top also understand that there's a social contract, that if you want your country to grow together, you cannot just pay yourselves high salaries and let the others go. So Norway has shown, and some European countries have also shown that this is possible. So we need to realize that there are evidence to tell us the truth, which is quite contrary to the propaganda that we've been told.
Sorry, I want to add. In Australia, from my understanding, is that a packer can earn about 3,000 to 4,000 a month. So I think this is a sustainable so-called lifestyle for living for them. Not say lifestyle, but pardon me, I think it's sustainable living for them. So if Singapore can have if we have a sustainable so-called job, I think that a lot of us will take it up.
I just want to give you the statistics. Thank you very much for sharing. As far as we know, the lowest pay for foreign workers in Singapore today is $18 per day. That is the lowest. And if you go to all the F&B outlets, the foreign university intern here on 6-month internship, I only paid $450 a month. And foreign interns are not counted in the foreign worker quota. So a company can employ in theory, 100% of their workers, foreign university intern, they're not breaking any of the foreign worker quotas at all. But what you say is very true, and we have statistics to show you why it's not that Singaporeans are not working. How do you tell whether Singaporeans want to work or not? Look at the unemployment rate of the different job categories. Which two job category has the highest unemployment rate? Service and sales workers and cleaners. What does that mean? That means the Singaporean who, if I may use example, you were in the shipyard, right? So you were in the shipyard from 1970 until now. Maybe you are getting $25 per hour. Then you lose your job and he wants to pay you $3. That's why you are unemployed. You cannot get another job. So when the unemployment rate is the highest for sales and service and cleaners, what it shows you is that Singaporeans who lose their jobs in these occupations cannot get the same job back. Or at least get a job which, after paying their bus fare and eating at the workplace, they still have some money left when they go home. So this thing about, that Singaporeans don't want to work is clearly debunked by the unemployment statistics. Next question, please.
I just want to add in the 70s when McDonald's just started in the 1976, 77 or 78, I went down to do interview. I want to do part-time. And they are paying $4 an hour in the 70s. And now they are paying us $3.80. It's ridiculous, right? Hey, this is true life example. I went for interview with Major Kwang, he's the one who started McDonald's, Major Kwang, right? And we went there, we want to do part-time. They say, $4 an hour. Do you want?
Okay, I statistics man, so 1976, $4, right? Okay, we follow the fast food hourly pay very closely. The lowest today are about $5 plus. Nobody is paying less than $5 plus today for fast food anymore. Okay? Yeah. Okay, next question. Next question, yes. Wait, Oh, you are the last question. Congratulations.
Okay. I would like to thank the panel of speakers for the really good speech. This is my first time asking this question, but do you think that the culture of the current culture in Singapore, where there's where you said mention about propaganda, does it impede on effects on the human rights? Because one thing is that it's very difficult for, I speak to some of my friends who had this difficulty of asking them to talk about human rights, but they can only see in dollar and cents. So when you talk about human rights, they just close off and blur up. So, but one thing is just that, is it because of the culture, or is it because the way that we refuse to speak up, or it's so difficult to preach this kind of thing to the general public? Yeah.
You see, in Singapore, everyone has to go through the 6 years of education, right? Compulsory education in PSLE. So after going through 6 years, you go through your secondary, JC, everything, at least 12 years, okay? So what they teach you inside is that when you need to study for your maths and science, why do they focus so much on maths and science? What degree does your Prime Minister have? So the next thing is, they do not focus on history, literature. And what do we mean by propaganda is that, do you think Straits Times is publishing the truth? Take my personal case, for example. Because they were the one who asked me not to sue them, they had to write in the Straits Times, Hui Hui is the one who actually backed out. Hui Hui is the one who closed her Facebook. But we all know, my Facebook is available. It is online. And we organize all these events through our Facebook. So how can they spread this kind of thing? That itself is a lie that they until now do not want to accept. And when they call you xenophobic, is it true that you are xenophobic? No, you go to their Facebook. They are the one who asked new citizens to be deported back. When they say that 70% of you want to work after you are 65 years old and you want lower wages, is it true? No, this is not true. They say that you people want to pay $120 to the NEA for selling tissue papers. Is this true? They are already so poor. How can they afford $120? Do you know how many packets of tissues they have to sell in order to earn that $120? So all these are calculations, we can do it. We know that it is not reasonable for them to say all these kind of things. And after the 12 years of education, what are we being taught? You have to be a lawyer, you have to be a doctor. But when we look at lawyers, after 10 years, only 1 out of 10 lawyers are still in that industry. Statistically, this is flawed already. When they ask us to study, they are always saying, you need to have cash, car, condo, the 5 C's. But is it reasonable and is it achievable to all of us? No, it is only achievable to their cronies. Why? Because you look at all the top schools. There is only one school in Singapore with a straight 12 years education, and this was just approved last year. And which school is it? All the minister's sons go to that school. So why is this so? That was RI. RI was lit in the 60s. So these are all the things that we can see for ourselves. You just have to look around you. Who are the ones earning all the low-wage workers? Cleaners, they are Singapore women. The cleaners are Singapore women. So, does your woman have to be made in other countries? Don't have to. There will be servants in this country already. But these are your rights and you need to fight for it. Because they only fight for their 4 million salary. They tell you, if you don't give me 4 million, I'll become corrupted. So why do you vote for someone whose moral ground is not there in the first place? Why do you vote for someone who either I will be corrupted underhand or I will be corrupted legally? Why do you want to vote for this kind of person? Then in this place, your whole system is going to be corrupted. Is it not or not? The next thing is, it is not true that Singaporean doesn't want to work. If Singaporean doesn't want to work, then why are we here for? Why are we saying that we are looking for jobs but we can't get it? It is because they do not want you to work. If you do not work, you can't afford your house. If you can't afford your house, you can't afford to have families and you will become extinct. This is what they are trying to do to us. They are trying to destroy us. And why should we be destroyed? If they are not happy, if they do not know how to take care of us, if they scratch their head asking why are people so angry, then they need to go and reflect on themselves. Let them retire now. Do not vote for us. Do not vote for them anymore. Let them retire. Since they have no brain or what, they do not know how to use. They do not even know what is wrong with the system. They can be...
I just want to answer the question. Singaporeans are not docile by nature. Before 1963, there were a lot of riots in Singapore, right? Okay, I mean, some people might debate whether, actually some people here might be better to answer this, but there might be some people who debate whether in the 1950s and 1960s, whether the riots were too violent. But the thing was, Singaporeans knew how to fight for our rights. The reason why Singaporeans have lost our rights, I'll put it to two things, propaganda and the law. In 1963, the PAP used the Internal Security Act to arrest more than 200 opposition and union members. On the May Day rally just 2 days ago, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong said that the NTUC was the one who fought the communist SATU, to say that because of the NTUC fighting the communists, they saved Singapore and they are able to establish themselves as NTUC. Obviously, we all know it's a lie. Obviously, we all know what the truth is. The PAP used the Internal Security Act to arrest the union members. Okay, so that was in 1963. In 1987, they also arrested more than 20 people and accused them of being Marxist conspirators, part of the Marxist conspiracy. And these people have come out, and Vincent knows some of them, and they have said that some of them don't even know one another. How could they have conspired against the government when they do not even know one another and when there's no email and internet? Okay, so I mean, all these things are the truth, and the government has not even come out to say anything. So that is one thing, the use of the law to clamp down on the people, to strike fear in the people's hearts. The other thing is propaganda. I actually spoke to a person. He was telling me that he read a research paper. In the research paper, what was done was in the 1970s and 1980s, the government came up with the idea of Confucianism, for example, for the Chinese, and then for the Malays and Indians, there was something else as well. So the idea of using Confucianism is that because we should believe in solidarity, we should believe in one another, so we should work to protect one another on the ground level. So then, after that, the government can say, now that you are going to be protecting yourselves, I'm going to introduce healthcare system. So when you want to use your MediSave or your MediShield, you must help each other in your family. You must wipe out each other's MediSave first before I come in and help you. Because we are a Confucianist society, we should all help one another on the family level. But meanwhile, I will pay myself high salaries, okay? Because you're Confucianist, let's support me as well, shall you? So the government uses propaganda to create a dual system where there's a very clear elite luxury class and an underclass, the whole of the 80% of Singaporeans. Now you all should believe in Confucianism. Meanwhile, I have my targeted cultural growth in my elite schools where I can go for what I want. My elite students or my elite class to think and behave like critical thinkers, etc. But for you, you just be Confucianist and have self-reliance, okay? I believe in self-reliance for you. You should take care of yourself for healthcare, for retirement. If you cannot, that means you're not working hard enough. Well, by now we already know that all these things are, just get it out of our heads. And then they might come back and say, what you're saying is not true, I'm going to sue you. Okay, by all means go ahead. Because if you use the law against me, you are not my government anymore.
And sorry, right, I want to add, I think the first protest, if I'm not wrong, is started from this, our president, Ong Teng Cheong. He was the general secretary in NTUC. Yeah, he's the one who started the strike first. So he is the one, okay? So it's not that we, And then secondly, I want to add to what Hang Hui says. From the time when 你是要我讲华语吗？哦，好，等一下。Okay, so for
just to add so one last comment, one last question, and then we'll
sorry, I'm taking out. Sorry. Okay, then another thing that strike everybody. I think this is very important. I personally feel that when we Singaporeans see the old people so poor, push cupboard and all those things, and we raise up our concern, and we actually ask for rise in so-called the budget on the security helps. And what did our Prime Minister actually tell us? Oh, if we want to help this group of people, then we have to raise the tax to help them. Hey, look, they are being paid sky-high salary, much more than Obama. Okay, and it never dwell in their brain that actually this salary burden taxpayer like us. But why is that little so-called increase in budget to help the poor actually burden all Singaporeans? So can you see the difference? Can you all see the difference of a human heart? And where come a human heart, where the words comes out and you know the actions will follow by their hearts itself. Okay, sorry, thanks.
One last question and then.
对不起，因为我的英文不太好，不过我是个地地道道的新加坡人。Okay, I'm a local Singaporean.
I will translate the question later.
我在网上呢，因为看到很多尤其是两位年轻人的博文呐，都很活跃的那个博客，对吧？我就是想问，有没有意思参选下一届的那个候选人呐？对，对不起，让国会中有多几把反对的声音，谢谢。
The question is, do we want to join the opposition parties to contest in the next election? Do you want to answer the question?
First of all, the first person who protest and organize strike in Singapore is not Ong Teng Cheong. Do you know who is he? He's Lee Kuan Yew. He organized it in the 1950s and the 1960s. And at that period of time, he didn't get his permit. It was the same as us. We only managed to register last night at 11:30. I registered 11:55. Can you imagine that when he couldn't register, what he said was, the government is not being democratic. What he said was, he need to fight for the freedom of speech for Singaporeans. But what is he doing to us here? He has been using taxpayers' money, using police, lawyers, ISD. Last time they called them communists. Then it became Marxism. Now they are spreading online that Roy and I are actually fascists. Is this true? No, this is not true. If the government wants us to take care of ourselves, fine. Then the government, the PAP, should get out of the government system. And we will go in so that we will take care of the people by ourselves. If they want us to take care of ourselves, they return our CPF money to us. And we will learn to foot our own medical bills. If they want us to take care of ourselves, remove the Land Act And then after that, we will build the HDB by ourselves. We will review the price of ourselves and we will sell at cost price to Singaporeans. If the PAP government want us to take care of ourselves, then we will remove and provide free education to all Singaporeans from preschool onwards. It is not that Singaporeans doesn't want to work as low-wage workers. In Switzerland, there are schools specialized in teaching cleaners how to use the chemicals, how to clean different materials. But in Singapore, they tell you cleaners are a job. You don't want to study, you become a cleaner. This is how they brainwash you since young. And through this education system that is flawed, there is a propaganda, this resulted in the people not knowing their rights and losing their own freedom of speech. So we do not have to surrender this to the PAP. We need to take this back because the power should belong to the people, not to the government.
I just want to add one thing. A lot of times we think that the government is in control and we should just listen to the 90 people in power. This is what the PAP has been telling us, that we should only rely on 90 people to make all the decisions in Singapore. I used to work in health promotion board, so I used to work in the civil service. I was writing speeches for the ministers. So the ministers are not actually running the show. Okay, there are people in the civil service, people in the companies, Singapore companies, people in the unions, people in the academic, the universities, and people in the think tanks who are proposing solutions. In fact, there was a book recently published, The Hard Choices, right? So people have solutions. But the question is, the PAP has been telling us that only they are in control and only they are able to make the solutions and only they are able to implement everything in Singapore. There are only 90 people. We are 3.3 million people. So we must remember, we must break down this propaganda. We have to stop believing that we have to rely on the government for everything. We have to put ourselves in government, but once that happens, Singaporeans have to then take up control and take up power and say, we are the people, and now you are going to listen to how we want things to be done, not how you want us to think, how you want things to be done. Yes, correct.
我以前在那个华文的广播电台做节目主持人呢，做了3年多，有听过我的节目吗？对，我以前在华文的报纸每天有个专栏，有看过吗？华语这么烂，他们跟政府差不多一样，为什么？你问他问题啊，这国会党讲一大堆的废话但是没有回答你嘞。你问他要不要选举吗？2个人没有说，是吗？我可以这样，他们是我的好朋友，他们跟我说过了，一定会选举的。谢谢大家，谢谢。